Sportsmanlike Nation is presented by Dr. Pepper. It's on college football season without the delicious taste of an ice-cold Dr. Pepper. Highlights there courtesy of 96.5 The Fan in Kansas City. The Kansas City Chiefs are officially eliminated from the postseason. That somehow becomes the lesser of two stories in KC as Patrick Mahomes, unfortunately, I'll use a CC terminology, sports tragedy yesterday, where he tears his left ACL. Who knows how long he is going to be out for. Congrats to the Chargers for the win. Really sad day in the NFL with the injuries, obviously, to Mahomes and Micah Parsons and others. Good morning to Michelle's Moment. Chris Canty, Evan Cohen with you. Rough day yesterday in the NFL all around, guys.
Yeah, rough day. We're talking about two top 5 players in the sports having their season end abruptly. But before we even get to the NFL action in Week 15, I know it was 17 degrees when I walked outside of my door this morning. I'm pretty sure it was around the same temperature for Smallman.
Yeah.
What was the weather like when you walked out of your door this morning, Evan Cohen?
Little do you know, a complete and utter massive rainstorm, and I am drenched right now. No joke. I am absolutely, yes, I am drenched because it is I'm in Florida at ESPN West Palm. I'm at ESPN West Palm. I flew from New York to West Palm yesterday, or so I thought, because they diverted the plane somewhere else. And then in the middle of the night, basically, I had to get to a different location and then ultimately get here. But I am here.
What?
And I know that. Yeah, that's correct.
You got diverted to an unknown location.
Well, it was an hour plus away, but yeah, I got diverted unbeknownst to any of us to Fort Lauderdale, and I had to then take an Uber back to West Palm to get a rental car to then drive somewhere else to get my clothes and then drive somewhere else is where I'm staying. So, yeah, it was an interesting night last night. But don't worry, Smalls. I'll text you back with whatever you need. Smalls is texting me, hey, what about this? What about this? I'm like, I'm a little busy right now.
Well, you didn't tell me that. I thought you were relaxing nicely in the sunshine.
No, I'm at an airport that I did not plan on being at. Anyway, yes. Hi, guys.
Hi.
Wow. I don't know where we go from there.
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out what the forecast was for Evan Cohen. It seems like he's snowbirding.
Yeah, we thought we were going to be jealous of him.
Leaving us in the cold.
Yeah.
And then he's complaining about the monsoon. And then, of course, having to jump on 3 different planes, go to 3 different airports, and then taking rental cars and Ubers and all of these other things. Like, you feel like you went around the world yesterday, sir, just to get to where you are right now.
Cece, that's you're an unbelievable analyst. I never thought about it that way. You're right. 3 airports in one day with no layovers. Yeah. That's a weird day.
That is very strange. That is very strange.
But you know what's amazing? Shout out to the airline. I'm not going to give them any praise here publicly because you can advertise with us. We have great advertising partners. I didn't miss a second of any of the games because they had TVs on everything. So
nice.
I was very lucky in that regard because I had booked my flights perfectly to not miss any games, but they tried to make me miss the games. Anyway, all right, Patrick Mahomes.
He's going to be missing some games.
This is so, it's sad. It's honestly sad. You lose the game, you lose your quarterback. Guys, your initial reaction / what's next for Kansas City?
Well, I think the initial reaction, I'm going to speak for myself, but I feel like for a lot of people is just feeling a bit deflated. And, I'm the number one person on this show that kept saying that the Chiefs' success was annoying. And obviously that's in jest because I wanted someone to truly challenge Patrick Mahomes as a rival. I wanted someone, a team to truly challenge the Chiefs for greatness. I wanted a rivalry. But for them to not only get eliminated from the playoffs and an incredible run of sustained success, and getting to the top of the mountain is hard enough, sustaining it is even harder. And they had an unbelievable run. But to think that he goes down in that same game with that knee injury and he's going to be out for some time, just as a football fan and someone that enjoys watching him week in and week out exert himself and see that greatness, it was deflating. I felt very sad for him, very bummed out for him, and you have to wonder what's next for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh, no doubt. And here's the thing. It's been trending this way for a while now with the way that Chiefs offensive line has been playing. Patrick Mahomes is the second most contacted quarterback in the NFL. Only Justin Herbert has been hit more. And so when you think about the state of affairs when it comes to that Chiefs offensive line, that team has been playing with fire in terms of allowing Patrick Mahomes to get pressured and to get hit at the rate that we've seen. And yesterday was more of the same from that Chargers front. Now, credit to those guys. I felt like they got after it from a physical standpoint. but you can't allow your quarterback to be pressured 18 times, hit 9 times, sacked 5 times. That is a recipe for disaster, and unfortunately, the unthinkable happened yesterday, and so now, not only are we talking about the Kansas City Chiefs having several significant streaks snapped, we're talking about how this Mahomes injury is going to impact them in 2026 and beyond. It feels like the death of the dynasty as we know it. The only question is, are they going to be able to have a second act like we've seen the New England Patriots and other NFL dynasties have in the past?
And that is the huge question, right? 10 straight playoff appearances. That streak is now over. They had been in the AFC title game all of the years that Mahomes had been a full-time starter, obviously eliminated from the playoffs now. We don't know about his status next year. And Andy Reid had this to say, head coach of the Chiefs, about the mood in the locker room post the loss to the Chargers and the loss of Mahomes.
Yeah, the guys are down. They busted their butt to win the game, and I wouldn't expect anything less. It's not a great feeling. I wouldn't expect it to be after losing a game.
Guys, we think about the big 3 or 4 of the Chiefs dynasty so far, right? We think about Reid, we think about Mahomes, we think about Kelsey, Chris Jones as well. But I'm going to leave Chris Jones out for the question I'm going to ask you because he would be the obvious answer. Which of those 3 guys that I just mentioned participates in the most regular season games for the Chiefs next year?
Out of Reid, Kelsey, Mahomes, I would go with Andy Reid.
Yeah.
With Mahomes' injury, you don't know how much you're going to see
TBD on
of
Travis
him.
Kelce.
Yeah, you don't know if this is the end of his career, if he's coming back or not. Andy Reid seems like the safe bet there.
Can I pitch an idea? Or maybe a concept for the Chiefs? Is there any chance next year they just voluntarily take a gap year? They say to Mahomes, don't even worry about coming back next year.
Ain't this year supposed to be the gap year?
Well, but
coming into this season, you said that this could be the 2008 New England Patriots. You said that.
I know, I don't like.
Yeah, well, I understand you don't like that, but that, it ends up bearing itself out in that way. It's just that the injury for Mahomes happens at the end of the season, not at the beginning. But you said that based on all of the football that they had played, how attrition always plays a factor in the NFL regular season, which is a marathon, not a sprint. At some point, all of those games, all of that, the toll physically is going to catch up to you.
Definitely.
And that feels like it's happened this year. And so the question now is, can Kansas City make the tough decisions that they have to in order to allow the franchise to function forward, which means moving on from some guys that we consider stalwarts. Because in the salary cap sport, the name of the game is to get younger and cheaper. And right now, the Kansas City Chiefs have a lot of guys, a lot of names we know that are expensive players, and quite frankly, some of them are more name than game. So the question is now, can Brett Veach in that front office retool better than what they've shown over the last several years that have allowed this team, allowed that offense to be in the state that it currently is in?
Yeah, and then I guess it's a fair point. I guess I was thinking the same way, but maybe a little bit altered in terms of the approach. When I said gap year, the gap year was this year, but not by design. I guess what I'm asking is, could next year be the gap year by design, where they say to Kelsey, take the year off and let us decide after that? I'm just saying, does he need a year away? Does Mahomes need the full year off and not even rush him back? I'm just throw that out there.
For Kelsey, if you're going to take a gap year,
Man, he ain't coming back.
You're not coming back.
He's not coming back. All right. I mean, Gronk took what, 1 or 2 years in between New England and Tampa. I forgot the number of years.
I think their
Gronk ain't
circumstances
married a billionaire,
the
though.
circumstances are a little different.
Different, dog.
Okay, all
It's a
right.
little bit different.
Well, then we're going to get to how many games Mahomes plays next year, if at all, whether or not Kelsey comes back, and obviously whether or not Andy Reid comes back next year. And Sal Paolantonio, ESPN NFL reporter, of course, has covered Andy Reid forever, dating back to his time in Philadelphia, was on Game Night here on ESPN Radio last night with Mark Zeno and Gerard Cherry, 3-time Super Bowl champion ESPN Cleveland, and had this to say about Andy Reid and whether or not he'd retire.
Not like this, no. And I've known him since the day he came to Philadelphia in 1999. I think he still has a lot of competitive juices flowing, A. B, I think, he sort of made a pact with his family that, this is his life, this is what he wants to do. He's on a track to set some all-time records as a head coach. Obviously, he's going to the Hall of Fame. So I don't think he's done. Definitely not. I don't think he wants to write his story ending like this. Knowing him, I don't think he wants to, leave the organization like this in a lurch, uncertain about the quarterback, uncertain about the head coach. That's just not his style.
All right, so if Reed's coming back, Mahomes coming back at some point, Kelsey TBD, was this yesterday the last dance?